I cannot believe what I am reading from Lin Dunn's Twitter. This is insanity. It's insane, bro. It's like we thought they called you back down from upstairs to go monitor Stephanie White. We thought you was there to monitor Stephanie White, but it seems like you starting to get wrapped into the nonsense too. What am I talking about? Let's take a look at what she posted on Twitter. This is crazy, man.
Lin Dunn just posted something that Indiana Fever fans cannot ignore. The woman brought back from upstairs to supposedly stabilize the organization, to guide Stephanie White to protect the franchise's biggest investment in Caitlin Clark. She just went on Twitter with a breakdown of 4 types of complainers. And the timing? Right after fans have been ripping the front office for drafting Raven Johnson at pick 10. Right after the organization got torched for questionable roster decisions all season. This isn't a coincidence.
Okay, here it is. The first one. It says, the productive complainer. This person fully engaged, offering ideas and suggestions help improve the team's culture. They are fully invested in the team's culture. The venting complainer. This person is working hard, doing what is right, but is a tad overwhelmed and needs to vent to release stress. The chronic complainer. This person always finds problems, but there are times those problems are real. We cannot overlook this person. We need to give them the proper attention and hear their ideas. The malicious complainer. This person needs to be removed. They complain about everything, gossip, and destroy the team's culture.
Look at that breakdown she posted. 4 categories of complainers: productive, venting, chronic, and malicious. The productive complainer offers ideas. The venting complainer is overwhelmed but working hard. The chronic complainer always finds problems, but sometimes those problems are real. And then there's the malicious complainer, the one who needs to be removed because they destroy team culture. Now here's the question nobody at the Fever wants to answer. Which category do paying fans fall into when they criticize a front office that hasn't won a championship in over 2 decades?
If we ignore complaints, we create continual problems. If we listen to everyone's ideas, we lose our direction. Dismissing complainers creates stress within the team, decreased engagement, high turnover, and damages the team reputation. As leaders, here it says, as leaders, we must institute a pathway for complaining to become a productive tool toward the betterment of the overall team.
Because that's what makes this post so tone-deaf. Fever fans aren't employees. They're not part of the organization's internal structure. They're consumers who pay for tickets, concessions, parking, merchandise, and streaming subscriptions. The average Fever ticket this past season cost $68. A family of 4 spending $270 to watch their team has every right to question why the front office used a top 10 pick on a player who averaged 6.8 points per game in college. That's not malicious complaining. That's basic accountability.
You have a lot of people saying that you are now coming at the fans because people are questioning the coaching leadership. People are questioning the front office that has been a complete just a complete dumpster fire. Okay, they are questioning the draft picks. So you're mad that fans, you're essentially saying, yo, the fans have been complaining about the draft picks, complaining about the players, complaining about Caitlin Clark's role on the ball, off the ball, all of this stuff. No, at the end of the day, we are consumers. We are the consumers. Okay, and this is the whole thing we're gonna get into with Erica Wheeler too, coming at the fans, because everybody's out of pocket right now. But this Lin Dunn thing is spooky because
and Lin Dunn knows this. She's been in professional basketball for over 4 decades. She was the head coach at Purdue for 27 years. She's been part of WNBA organizations since the league's early days. So when she posts about how leaders must create pathways for complaining to become productive and how dismissing complainers creates stress and damages team reputation, she's talking about internal management. But the optics are that she's lecturing fans who watched the Fever go 13-27 in 2023 before Caitlin Clark arrived.
To a point where it's almost like we don't know who we can look to. We don't know who we can trust from within the organization anymore. Because I mean, come on, man. You got Lin Dunn, like all of a sudden, you think it's not a coincidence that after the Indiana Fever have been getting bombed on for the front office decisions. They've been getting bombed on for drafting Raven Johnson at pick number 10. They've been getting bombed on. People been going off. Now she has a cryptic post about complainers and complaining and what's best for the team and this and that. It is not a coincidence, guys. It's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence at all. So Caitlin Clark fans, Indiana Fever fans, look, keep your eyes peeled, ear to the streets, because we don't know who we can.
Here's what Fever fans actually did this season. They showed up. Indiana's average home attendance jumped from 4,067 in 2023 to 17,036 in 2024. That's a 319% increase. Gainbridge Fieldhouse sold out 17 consecutive home games. The Fever went from being one of the least-watched teams in the league to regularly pulling over 1 million viewers on national broadcasts. Caitlin Clark's debut against Connecticut drew 2.1 million viewers on ESPN, making it the most-watched WNBA game in 23 years. And those fans, the ones who drove that growth, they're supposed to stay quiet when the front office makes questionable decisions. The franchise was valued at approximately $53 million before Clark arrived. Industry analysts now estimate the Fever's value has more than doubled. That increase didn't come from front office brilliance. It came from drafting generational talent and from fans who bought into the excitement despite years of organizational dysfunction.
Don't know who we can trust from within the organization. I'm telling you guys this, man. Now, let's get to Erica Wheeler. This was ridiculous. WNBA veteran mocks middle-class Americans for being broke after 800% pay raise. Erica Wheeler got a little taste of wealth, and now she is talking that down on those who don't have it. It did not take long for WNBA players to mock lower and middle class citizens for not making enough money. Erica Wheeler, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You was just on OnlyFans trying to get people to look, listen, man. You was just trying to get people to spend money on the OnlyFans for some.
But it gets worse. Because this isn't just Lin Dunn. Erica Wheeler, a 9-year WNBA veteran, just mocked middle-class Americans for not making enough money. Wheeler, who earned less than $70,000 per season for most of her career, suddenly got a taste of the new CBA money and decided to lecture fans about being broke. She posted that people criticizing WNBA salaries are just jealous because they probably don't even make $150,000 a year. The audacity is stunning.
It's a great cause, but don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't be coming at these people like that. That's crazy. Here it says the tides have turned. It's almost as if WNBA players were chomping at the bit to call people broke. Not a great look. Now, Erica Wheeler basically went on to say, people were hating and jealous that WNBA players is making money, and those people was mad because they probably don't even make $150K a year. Listen, bro, respectfully, 90% of y'all wasn't making $150K a year.
Let's put this in perspective. The median household income in the United States is $74,000. That means half of American families make less than that. These are the people who buy WNBA tickets, who subscribe to League Pass, who purchase jerseys and support the league financially. And Erica Wheeler, who was making $65,000 just 2 years ago, is now calling them broke? The same fans whose viewership and ticket purchases directly led to the revenue increase that funded her pay raise?
Relax, man. I'm happy for y'all getting to the bag, because I'm getting to the bag myself. I'm not tripping off that. Do y'all thing, but you don't gotta come at people for what they do or don't make. You look mad corny, you look wild, it's nasty work, man. It's nasty work what Erica Wheeler has done. But you coming at the fans, but these are the same fans who you needed their numbers, their ratings, their ticket sales, their money paying for parking, concessions and all of that so that you could actually get the bag. It's crazy.
The new WNBA collective bargaining agreement, signed in January 2024, raised the average salary from approximately $113,000 to $147,000. The minimum salary jumped from $62,000 to $65,000. These are meaningful increases, and nobody begrudges players getting paid more. But Wheeler's salary went from around $70,000 to potentially over $200,000 depending on her contract. That's an increase of over 185% in some cases. And 6 months after getting that raise, she's on social media mocking the financial situations of regular people. Here's what makes both situations, Lin Dunn's complainer post and Erica Wheeler's broke comments, so problematic. They reveal a fundamental disconnect between WNBA organizations and the fan base that's currently saving the league. The WNBA lost money every single year from its founding in 1997 until 2024. The NBA subsidized the league to the tune of approximately $10 million per year. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert announced in August 2024 that the WNBA finally turned a profit for the first time in its 28-year history. And what drove that profit? Caitlin Clark's arrival, which brought unprecedented viewership and attendance. Indiana's 22 regular season home games in 2024 drew a combined 375,792 fans. That's more than the Fever drew in the previous 3 seasons combined. Road games featuring the Fever saw similar spikes. When Indiana visited Washington on June 7, 2033 fans showed up, the largest crowd in Mystics franchise history. The Fever's game at Atlanta on June 13 drew 17,608, setting another franchise record. Every arena in the league saw attendance increases when Indiana came to town. Television numbers tell the same story. The Fever's games averaged 1.178 million viewers across ESPN, ABC, CBS, and ION platforms. That's higher than NHL playoff games on the same networks. Clark's rookie debut outdrew Game 7 of the NBA Finals from 2014. These aren't marginal improvements, they're transformational shifts in how America consumes women's basketball. And the fans who drove those numbers? They're invested. They care enough to criticize when things go wrong. They're watching closely enough to notice when the front office drafts a point guard in the top 10 when they already have the best point guard in the world. They're paying attention when coaching decisions don't make sense, when rotations seem backwards, when organizational dysfunction becomes obvious. That's not malicious complaining. That's engagement. That's passion. That's exactly what a struggling league needs. Fans who care deeply enough to demand excellence. The worst thing that could happen to the WNBA isn't fans complaining too much. It's fans not caring enough to complain at all. Lin Dunn's post about complainers needing to be managed, categorized, and potentially removed misses this entirely. You don't remove paying customers because they criticize your product. You improve your product so the criticism stops. The Indiana Fever haven't won a championship since 2012. They've made the playoffs just 4 times in the last 10 years. They had 5 different head coaches between 2020 and 2024. That's organizational instability, and fans have every right to point it out. The Raven Johnson pick at number 10 is a perfect example. Johnson averaged 6.8 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 5.7 assists at South Carolina. Solid numbers for a defensive specialist, but not top 10 draft pick numbers in a league where roster spots are precious and development time is limited. Fans looked at that pick and asked legitimate questions. Why not take Tahina Pauapau, who went 13th and averaged 12.6 points with elite 3-point shooting? Why not Sedona Prince, who went 20th and gives you size and versatility? Why reach for a backup point guard when you have Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell? Those aren't malicious complaints. They're basketball analysis from people who understand the game and care about the franchise. And when Lin Dunn posts about how leaders need to manage complainers and create pathways for complaints to become productive suggestions, it reads like she's talking down to the fan base instead of listening to legitimate concerns. Erica Wheeler's comments carry a different kind of tone deafness. She literally had an OnlyFans account in 2023 where she was asking fans to pay for exclusive content to support charitable causes. Nothing wrong with that. It was for a good cause, and fans voluntarily participated. But you can't ask regular people to financially support you one year and then mock their income levels the next year. That's not how you build sustainable fan relationships. Wheeler made her comments in response to criticism about WNBA salaries, suggesting that people who question player compensation are just jealous because they don't make 6 figures themselves. But that completely misunderstands the criticism. Nobody's saying WNBA players don't deserve higher salaries. The criticism is about players acting entitled to salaries that exceed league revenue without acknowledging that the NBA's subsidy is what made their paychecks possible for 27 years. The new CBA allocates 50% of league revenue to player salaries, up from 20% under the previous agreement. That's fair. That's how professional sports should work. But 50% of revenue only generates significant salaries if revenue is significant. And revenue is only significant because fans showed up in unprecedented numbers in 2024. Those fans deserve respect, not mockery about their income levels. What makes this particularly frustrating is the timing. The WNBA just had its best year ever. Attendance up 21% across the league. Viewership up 63% on major networks. Merchandise sales up 500% for certain players. Expansion teams in San Francisco and Portland set to join in 2025 and 2026, each paying $50 million expansion fees. The league is finally gaining mainstream traction after nearly 3 decades of struggle. And instead of embracing the fans who made this possible, instead of thanking the people who bought tickets and subscriptions and jerseys, you've got veterans like Erica Wheeler calling them broke, and executives like Lin Dunn posting about how to manage complainers. It's self-sabotage. It's alienating the exact people you need to sustain this growth. So here's the question for Indiana Fever management. Is Lin Dunn there to stabilize the organization and guide Stephanie White toward competent decision-making, or is she there to run interference for a front office that doesn't want to hear criticism? Because if it's the latter, if her role is to categorize fan complaints and dismiss the malicious ones, then Fever fans have a bigger problem than questionable draft picks. And here's the question for WNBA players who suddenly have money. Are you going to respect the fans whose support made your raises possible, or are you going to spend the next 5 years mocking the people who pay your salaries? Because the league's growth isn't guaranteed. Viewership could drop, attendance could decline. The casual fans who showed up for Caitlin Clark might not stick around if the product disappoints or if players treat them with contempt. Professional sports is a results business. You want fans to stop complaining? Win championships. Make smart roster decisions. Develop young talent effectively. Treat generational stars like the franchise-altering assets they are. Do those things consistently, and the complaints disappear on their own. But if you're going to draft questionable players, make confusing coaching decisions, and then lecture fans about being complainers when they point out the obvious, you're going to lose the goodwill that took 28 years to build, and you're going to lose it fast. The WNBA has a choice to make. Embrace the passionate, critical, deeply invested fanbase that showed up in 2024, or alienate them by treating valid criticism as malicious complaining. One path leads to sustained growth and mainstream acceptance. The other leads right back to empty arenas and NBA subsidies. So what do you think? Are Fever fans out of line for criticizing the Raven Johnson pick and questioning front office decisions? Are WNBA players justified in calling out fans who criticize their salaries? Or is this a league that's forgotten who pays the bills? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that subscribe button, and let's keep this conversation going. Because this divide between players, management, and fans, it's only getting wider, and somebody needs to bridge it before the damage becomes permanent.